How's it going? Rush here. So, of course, we continue to see the greatness of Trump and his administration and getting America back on track. And of course, it has a lot of people, mainly the left, with their undies all up in the wad, right? So, it's crazy that we even have to continue to discuss this because apparently common sense isn't common anymore. Specifically, of course, on the left. So I'm getting into these videos, or I'm finding these videos, more and more of these videos of illegals being captured and deported. And then over the weekend, you see that the left came up with the protest, hands off, to protest Trump, Elon, how they're strong arming America, taking Americans' rights away, so they claim, taking Social Security away, so they claim, and illegally deporting illegals. And the list goes on, right? So the biggest story right now, of course, in the realm of the illegals being deported is one guy. Hold on a second. Let me find it for you. Okay, so this is on NBC News. A man mistakenly deported to El Salvador doesn't need to be back in U.S. Tonight, Supreme Court rules. So Kilmar Garcia, a legal resident protected from deportation by a 2019 court order, who has lived in the U.S. since 2011, was deported to a notorious Salvadorian prison on March 15th. The United States does not have to return a Maryland man who was accidentally deported to a high security prison in El Salvador to U.S. soil by midnight. So basically, the Supreme Court ruled Monday in an administrative stay that temporarily pauses a judge's previous order. So there was a judge who was trying to force Trump to send this father back to the U.S., to bring him back from El Salvador, but the Supreme Court ruled in Trump's favor, and now, at this moment, it's been paused, and he does not have to be, or Trump does not have to bring him back or work on bringing him back and such. The fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals on Monday morning denied the administration's request for a stay of a judge's order demanding that Kilmar Garcia, a legal resident protected from deportation by a 2019 court order, who has lived in the U.S., that's the same thing we read at the beginning. The Supreme Court then issued an administrative stay Monday afternoon with a request that Mr. Garcia's team filed a response by 5. He was deported March 15th, what the Trump administration described as an administrative error. U.S. District Judge Paula Zenas of Maryland issued the return order Friday. It's crazy how these judges are trying to strong arm Trump, because they politically get involved and they let politics skew the rule of law. Attorney Pam Bondi welcomed the Supreme Court's decision and vowed to continue to protect the executive branch from judicial overreach. Exactly. So Trump has the final say, and these judges believe that they can come in and tell him what they want him to do or what he should and should not be doing. They want to challenge him. Minutes after the Supreme Court ruling, Garcia's attorney filed a response. The United States has never claimed that it is powerless to correct this error, and before today, it did not contend that doing so would cause it any harm, the filing states. That is because the only one harmed by the current state of affairs is Mr. Garcia. Let's see. He added that it has been a yo-yo weekend for Garcia's family. In a statement early Monday through the immigration advocacy group, Garcia's wife said the Fourth Circuit Court ruling gives me hope and even more encouragement to help finding my children, family, and I. Here's a photo of the father. Let's see. The Trump administration argued that the midnight Monday deadline was arbitrary and impossible. Duh. They wanted it to be a challenge. They wanted to try to pull a fast one because that stuff takes time to plan. You can't just say you have until... No, you can't do that. Again, they shouldn't even be trying to strong arm the president. The U.S. negotiations with a foreign sovereign should not be put on a judiciary mandated clock. Again, duh. Least of all when matters of foreign terrorism and national security are at stake, the filing claim. Okay, so there are other there are other articles about this as well. But one of the biggest things too is that this guy came into the US illegally. And they want to say that he was not they want to say he wasn't given due process, and then they're also stating how that Trump and Tom Homan should be giving these illegals a heads up before they are deported. Negative. I don't see how they don't deserve any rights. For you to have those rights, you need to be here legally. Okay? You dishonor this country when you come in illegally and think that you can just slide on in and be a part of our nation, our great nation. I don't think so. I see that as breaking and entering. That's like you trying to see you coming into my home uninvited and then making my home your home, and I didn't invite you in. And to think that they have any type of say so in this. It's already on the books that it's a felony, it's a crime for you to enter into the US illegally. And as far as a heads up or a notice of sorts, I think that was already given when Trump stated during his run for president that this is what he was going to do. That he was going to have a mass deportation. It was already stated. Now, Mr. Garcia, I'm not sure about how he was taken, where he was taken, how they picked him up. But, let's see what this says. Was an administrative everybody has been, let's see. Okay, this is basically the same story. Protected from deportation. The only way I believe you can be protected from deportation is if you come in legally, not given some type of court order. He was and he's originally from El Salvador. So Trump just sent him home. So here we go. He was mistakenly deported to the notorious jail on March 15th, along with Venezuelan men who Trump administration officials claimed were gang members. So again, Tom Homan also stated that if you are amongst these gang members, when they're going after them, when they're searching for them and finding them, and if you are if you are amongst bad company and you are an illegal, you too are being taken. You too are being arrested. Now, I don't know if Mr. Garcia knew who these people were, but either way, it's in an IKEA parking lot. They said he was apprehended in an IKEA parking lot, according to his attorney, with his 5-year-old autistic son in the backseat of his car. So, I don't know. Still, yeah, they say deport. I have no remorse. I really truly don't. You took the risk coming here illegally, and you took the risk to be deported as well when you got here. So I have no remorse for you. I honestly don't believe that we should be going through all of this for someone who has no legal standing here in the U.S. We have our own citizens that we need to worry about. What good are our laws if we don't uphold them? People want to go out here and march in the streets again. They were marching over this past weekend, wanting to protest these things, and we have them. This is just one situation where apparently the guy wasn't a cartel member of sorts, or and participate in any crimes that we know of so far. Okay, this stuff is just, we know how the news network works, like in reporting, in reporting and getting us all the facts. Sometimes it can take days, weeks, and sometimes even months before we know the full person's backstory. So I say give it some time, and then we'll truly know who Mr. Garcia really is. And check out this post or this video as well from former Governor Kristi Noem. So an illegal was really pissed off and tried to prevent Kristi from recording him or speaking to him, rather. Here.
You know why we're picking him up today? Huh? You do understand? You understand the charges against you? You understand the charges against you? Okay, well, you're going to be prosecuted. You're going to be prosecuted. You don't commit crimes in the country. Yeah, you're scaring me with your props.
Yeah, so the guy tried to block her with his crock. Well, he was just mad because, of course, he was getting arrested. And this is, let's see, he was a Mexican national, Jose Escobar, who's in our country illegally and is accused of human trafficking and drug trafficking, and was previously deported. See what this says.
Our country, but we are going to try to have run up in Phoenix, Arizona with DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and the incredible ICE and DHS team, and we are about to go arrest a criminal who they don't relate in, who is charged with drug trafficking. And these are people that Democrats want to keep in our country. They're fighting to keep drug traffickers and criminals and murderers and rapists in our country. But we are going to track every single one of them down, and we're going to arrest them, and we're going to deport them.
Exactly. This is what we wanted. This is what we voted for. We knew what we were getting into, what we wanted, when Trump said that he was going to impose a mass deportation. And still, of course, and it baffles me that the left will continue to cry for these criminals who will not shed a tear for them. These people who are coming across here like this, not saying that the father was, because of course we're still, the verdict is, the jury is still out on who he is on the backstory side, at least that I haven't found yet. But again, no remorse for him being deported, because again, he illegally came across our borders. But these monsters right here, like drug trafficking, human trafficking, that's sick. So here's another story from the New York Post, and it's another sad story and done by an illegal. The University of South Carolina student was killed in a hit and run involving an illegal immigrant. Now, this 21-year-old was riding his motorcycle. See, an illegal immigrant on the run from U.S. Customs and U.S. Customs and then U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement was busted for a devastating hit-and-run crash that killed a University of South Carolina student Wednesday, according to police sources. Rosali Fernandez Cruz allegedly fled after he failed to yield and rammed his pickup truck into a motorcycle operated by Nathaniel Baker, 21, at Blossom and Assembly Streets near the university's campus around 2 p.m. Young. The careless motorist, who was allegedly driving without a license, was wanted by ICE since 2018. So on the run. A South Carolina student was killed yesterday because of an illegal alien who had no right to be here, said Nancy Mace, U.S. Representative for South Carolina. We're going to fight like hell to get every last illegal alien out of South Carolina. We're praying for the victim, his family, and the students at USC who have been touched by his passing. So they held a memorial for the student, for Nate, and apparently they also state that intersection is a problem as well, per other articles. But again, he was wanted by ICE. He's been wanted by ICE. And the only reason for ICE to go after you, mostly, aside from, we know that they don't really seek during the administration over the years, they weren't really seeking illegals as they should have been. This dude probably, more than likely, had a horrible past, crimes, like many of them do. He's been on the run since 2018 in South Carolina, driving a vehicle without a license. And according to other reports, he was also accompanied by two other people in the truck. I'm not sure of their status, but from the other articles I read, Fernandez dumped the truck. Everyone fled on foot, and he was later caught not far down the road, denied bail, which is, yes, definitely denied bail. And he didn't render aid to the kid. He just kept going. Tragic. Shouldn't have been here. But yet still the liberals are out here crying because criminals are being deported. Criminals are getting what criminals deserve. And they're crying about that. It's crazy how the left have a heart for criminals. It is mind-boggling. Monsters. Demons. And they are over here acting like these people care. They could care less that they were supported by the left in any way, shape, or form. They could care less that you voted for them to stay, for them to gain certain funding and assistance. They don't care about that. A lot of these demons that are coming across these borders are exactly that. They're demons. There's no humanity. They severed that. They've severed that that human side of them. What's right and what's wrong. What's remorseful. They don't have that anymore. That part of them died a long time ago. And the left over here crying, trying to make them seem human, trying to humanize them when they're no longer human. And that they're and it's ongoing. And these are just some stories, of course, so far. Actually, hold on. You know what? I got another one for you. Hold on. All right, here we go. Post-millennial. California soccer coach accused of killing 13-year-old boy is an illegal immigrant from El Salvador. Faces the death penalty. It has been revealed that the California youth soccer coach accused of killing a 13-year-old boy who had been reported missing is an illegal immigrant from El Salvador, multiple law enforcement sources told Fox News. Mario Garcia has been taken into custody on murder charges. Law enforcement has accused him of killing Oscar Hernandez, who was a player on Garcia's soccer team. He is being prosecuted by the LA County District Attorney's Office. LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman told reporters at a press conference that Omar Hernandez traveled to Lancaster on March 28th to see Garcia and never returned home. The victim's body was discovered in Oxnard off a road near Carleo State Beach on April 2nd. No parent should ever have to endure the unimaginable pain and sorrow of learning their child has been murdered. Oscar simply boarded a train, and little did he or his family know that he would not return home. Garcia has been charged with 1 count of murder with the special circumstance allegation of murder during the commission or attempted commission of lewd acts with a child. If convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of life in prison without parole. The charges also make him eligible for the death penalty. Additionally, the LA District Attorney's Office filed on Monday charges against Garcia in a separate incident that occurred in Palmdale in February 2024. This includes 1 felony count of assault with the intent to commit a sexual offense. The alleged victim was a 16-year-old boy. It's unclear when Garcia unlawfully entered the U.S. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin told Fox News in a statement that Omar Hernandez was an innocent child who was exploited and killed by this depraved illegal alien who should have never been in this country. Under President Trump and Secretary Noem's leadership, child predators, pedophiles, and murderers will be hunted down and removed from America's community, said McLaughlin. Yes, indeed. This is what we wanted. This is what we got. This is what we're getting. Let's see. This was an avoidable crime and the result of failed border policies. Agreed, said U.S. Attorney Bill Esley. We cannot and will not tolerate illegal aliens who flout our nation's immigration laws then prey on children. Federal law enforcement will continue to be very aggressive in locating, apprehending, and prosecuting criminal illegal aliens. Furthermore, Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna said there is no excuse for these types of crimes. We will continue to pursue justice and work tirelessly to ensure we bring closure to the victims and their families, while ensuring that such individuals face the full extent of the law. Garcia was a youth travel soccer coach with the Hurricane Valley Boys Soccer Club. He had no prior criminal history that they know of, I would say, since they have no idea when he came to the U.S. A lot of these illegals come through, ditch any record. Some places where they come from, there's a hard time or they have no record-keeping system, or they assume another identity. There's ways around it. Authorities are asking any potential victims to come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department's Juvenile Division Abuse Child Unit. This guy was preying upon little kids. If anything, that's sad. If anything, Oscar, he may have fought back. He may have passed on Mario's passes, trying to make moves on him, and Oscar probably wasn't going for it, and it cost him his life. Again, This is what happens when our borders are left open. You're just letting anything come through. Anything. Again, you want to boo-hoo, whine, and cry. Oh, this land used to be their land. We stole this land. Throw it away. Stop it. You're talking about stuff that one happened years ago. So that ship has practically sailed because now we are an established nation. You can cry because someone was always fighting over some land anyway. We just came out on top. And to try to rectify that now and try to say that the borders should be open because this land is stolen. It's an established country. We have our own laws. If you don't like the laws, sorry. It is what it is. It's crazy because you'll cry about our nation's borders not being left wide open for the world to just pour their trash into our nation. And then you'll have no problem abiding by other countries' laws when it comes to their way of visitation and going about citizenship. It's crazy. But of course, this common sense has left the chat. But again, there's more stories out there like this, folks. They're going to continue to be reported, heard. I can assure you that if you check your local news and you just type in illegal immigrant in South Carolina or California or New York or New Hampshire or whatever, you are going to find a story about them being here and the chaos and destruction that they've caused. The kid that was killed in USC, again, they said that the driver, that the illegal, didn't have a license. It doesn't surprise me. There are a lot of tales, and people might say it's racist, but I don't give a darn. Whatever. I've seen illegals, and no, I'm not calling them out. But there are certain things that you can tell that someone is not from here, from around here rather. Just like if you were to go into another country and they can instantly point out that you're not a local, that you're not from there. It's the same thing. There are certain things that they just speak loud. Like driving, for example, okay? If you are not familiar with the driving laws of the U.S., it's going to show. Yes, we Americans, there are bad drivers. Yes, but guess what we had to do? We had to take a driving test. We had to take a written and a driving portion. Some even took driver's ed in school. But we are familiar with like the signs, especially. We know what yield means. We know what sign is for merging. We know what our traffic lights indicate. Things of that nature. We know how to use a roundabout. And some of those who are here, who come here illegally and are getting behind the wheel, have no idea. I hear about how they're at the border and we have soldiers at the border. And how soldiers have either lost their lives or been badly injured because an illegal was behind the wheel and was not familiar with how to properly drive. Things, stuff like that stands out. I've seen them in the stores. They go, grocery shopping where I go grocery shop. And I can I can tell. I can tell. I don't look at them any certain way or anything like that, but there are just indications. And yeah, you can say what you want, that it's racist, whatever. I just know how to read the room. I, I I've seen it, and I know I'm not the only one. Just go ahead and admit it, cause you know what? The fact is this: once I say this, you're gonna start noticing it too. If you haven't already, you're gonna start to notice it as well. And again, I don't say anything to them. I don't bother them. They don't bother me. It is what it. I just know that they are amongst us. I used to work retail, and I used to work in the cell phone department, and the illegals would come in all the time, and they would want cell phones. Okay, cool. I'll sell you a cell phone, but there was a huge language barrier, and you know how they got around it? They had their children as young as 5, 6 years old translate for them. And you could just and yes, there are families who treat, they treat their children to, or they teach their children to speak both English and whatever their native tongue is. Spanish, of course, is going to be the primary one that we're going to hear here in the U.S. when it comes to illegal immigrants in certain parts. But especially here, anywhere where I am. And yeah, it was just a tale. You could that was just, you could tell by the way that they tried to understand. Like they may have been looking at a product and trying to understand, what the product was, or how the product worked, and things like that. Because some of that stuff, of course, they're not going to have back at home. And of course, they might not know English, so we'd have to go over there with Google Translate. Tales. There are tales. And then people want to get mad and be like, don't you ever go into a Mexican restaurant because you want them deported? I enjoy Mexican food. I enjoy Chinese food. I enjoy all sorts of dishes from all over the worlds. But also, I enjoy my country not being taken advantage of, my tax dollars going towards those who do not deserve to be here. If you are fleeing a nation because of something that you did, for example, of course, these gang members, they are fleeing their countries in fear of retaliation, in fear of their government arresting them and throwing them in jail. You don't deserve to start over. Not without paying the price for what you did before. You can't run from it. Okay, sure, you could have found God. All right, you could have turned your life around, started to earn honest living, planted roots, built a family. But we're not here to hide you if you're fleeing like that. And those, well, they're seeking asylum. Well, you know what? They passed through several other countries as well that they could have sought asylum from. But they did not stay. If they were truly in danger, they would have stayed in one of those other countries and sought asylum instead of coming into our country. But the only reason why they came into our country is because we have the biggest pushovers in government and the most uninformed people voting. And of course, we paid a price for it. And then y'all want to get mad about those exposing Medicare fraud. Where do you think the fraud is going? What do you think is causing the fraud? Why do you think there is fraud? Part of the reason is fraud is because it's going to cover these illegals who are here. They want to get mad about the Social Security. Well, they're talking about Social Security numbers that have been long. They're like they're past their age, their expiration date, so to speak, because the individual who owned the Social Security Social Security number, is no longer with us. They have moved on, but somehow their Social Security number is still being used. Why? It's being stolen. They said that the illegals who come here to, they seek work visas or asylum or whatever, shortly afterwards, without any type of vetting, they are given Social Security numbers. It's sick. Our own government is literally sabotaging us, setting us up for failure. People out here trying to figure out how they're going to make ends meet, what their next move is going to be, wanting to build a legacy, wanting to do this, that, and above. But our government is like, so you know what? This is what we going to do. And then you get used to the abuse. And then you don't see your tax dollars working for you the way that you thought or that you were told that they were supposed to work for you. So you get used to having to pay taxes. Taxes going up. Money being sent overseas. Government offering free. And then now when Trump comes into office and he talks about doing things that the liberals have stated that they were going to do. And I'm going to touch briefly on this whole tariff thing. And I want to show you these videos.
You can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion. And yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me. I know people are talking about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not. But I do get tired of seeing the country with.
Why would you?
U.S. MFN tariff on Chinese goods coming into the United States is 2%, whereas the average Chinese MFN tariff on U.S. goods going into China is 35%. Is that reciprocal? In terms of jobs, this is the biggest and cruelest hoax of all. The China trade supports 170,000 jobs in the United States, 170,000 jobs, whereas our imports from China support 10 million jobs at least. The fact is that U.S.-China trade is a job loser.
Should go right to f***ing jail! The son of a bitch!
So I hope you got that right. Trump was saying the same thing then as he's saying and acting on now. And back then, he was still loved. The same people, of course, who loved him then, hate him now. His tone hasn't changed. And then in the other clip was Nancy Pelosi back in 96. And there's one out there of Chuck Schumer doing the same thing. The thing with the tariffs, China, cost of it on Americans and our tax dollars and everything that they said then, Trump is acting and doing today. Back then there was the support. Back then it was said that it was a good job. Back then they said, yes, I agree. We're being taken advantage of. And then today they are putting it in your face that he's a threat to democracy. He's He's destroying our economy. He's coming after this. He's coming after that. And y'all are falling for it. Or probably not you all. You guys are the smart ones. But others, again, those who are marching over the weekend, that they're falling for it. And this isn't the first time Trump has done what Democrats have said that they were going to do, or other Republicans who said that they were going to do things. It's just that he's the only one to act on it. He's the only one that's like, you know what? Bet. Let's do this. Good idea. I'm tired of seeing the American taxpayers being taken advantage of. I'm tired of seeing the American dream look further and further away for others to achieve who are paying into the system. I'm tired of our own citizens not being able to come out on top. Trump is a he's a people person. He's a businessman. And like I tell everyone, and then I'm going to close out with this, trust the process. Just wait and see. With these tariffs, just wait. We already see, after a few short days of announcing the reciprocal tariffs, over 30, 60, 70 plus countries come to the table and want to negotiate with Trump. At what point do we literally sit down and take action and fix it? I used the analogy with someone over the weekend, and I think it pretty much sums it up. It's like a house. You get a house. It needs a lot of work. You got to rip up carpet, flooring, you got to redo the ceiling, you got to redo the walls, whatever. You got mold, you got all this other damage, this, that, and above. But the house, you can see the potential of the house. It's going to hurt. It's going to take time. But you see the end result, and it's beautiful. People who might see you working on that house might think that you have lost your mind. But you understand and you trust the process. That's the best way I can put it. And hopefully that message made it across to you just as well. So again, appreciate you all stopping in. I know it went a little long today, but I felt like these were things that I just needed to go ahead and touch base on, especially since I don't get on here but once and sometimes twice a week. Hit the don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, receive notification whenever I make and drop another video. Leave anything in the comments. Follow me on Instagram. Stay prayed up, keep God first, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.